This story I first heard when in school our good Welsh teacher gave us a very good repetition of this without a book in front of her, and it was a brilliant story. And there's not a detail which isn't there for a reason. If you look carefully and listen carefully, there's a dig each time. The nastiness of the big brother, the self-sufficiency of the young one, who then, bit by bit, goes to the lowest of the low. The pigs are unclean, and he's wanting just what they have to eat. And then, as we would say in Irish, the copping on bit. Oh, if only. And he goes back with this very well prepared speech, and the father is waiting for him, looking every day, sees him at a distance, and he's not allowed even to finish the speech. The delight. He was willing to have the lowest place, just a hired servant, but he's given this feast, which of course rubs up the other one the wrong way. And he speaks in a very nasty way. Doesn't even call him his own brother. This son of yours, who has squandered all your property with harlots. The very term is an insult. And then the father indicates something of the goodness of God the Father. Son, all that is mine is yours, which is very close to what the Lord himself says when speaking to his own Father. And this culmination, lost and found. I'm reminded of two events, both of which did happen. And one is the case of a young man about probably by now 2 centuries ago, because time has gone by. It was in the old Paris, the high society. And he was just an average young Parisian. And he was like an average young Parisian, happy to go on a Saturday night to a ball. And there he was, dancing away with his delight. And between dances, they sat down. And she took out her powder box and wanted to make herself even more beautiful. But as she took it out, something got into her, and she blew into it in such a way that he was completely covered in this beauty powder. That was one thing which would have ended there and not have any effect. But the only thing was that she said something at the same time. And what she said was this: Souviens-toi, homme, que tu es poussière, et qu'à la poussière tu retourneras. Remember, O man, that thou art dust, and unto dust thou shalt return. And she went on with her beauty powder. Oh. That hit him. Discreetly, he found his way, when no one was looking, outside to take in what he just heard. Looked up at the stars and saw eternity, and thought, before that, what am I, and what am I doing? Dust. Not long afterwards, he knocked on the door of a very, very strict monastery and asked if he could make a retreat, and then asked if he could enter. And enter he did, and lived and died in complete silence, a heroic life. But the dust landed well in eternity, and by now is surely amongst the angels and saints. The other is what happened more recently in time. It's under the reign of, by now, St. John Paul II, just to frame it in chronology. And this man was ordained before John Paul II's reign, but for some reason got discouraged. The details I never heard, but he went very, very far away from the priesthood and anything resembling it. He ended up as a down and out, probably thinking of suicide. For some reason, he wandered towards the Vatican area, penetrated further in, and accidentally crossed the path of John Paul II, who looked at him in his miserable state and wanted to know something of the story that was behind him in this gutter situation. He explained, I am a priest who left the priesthood years ago, and this is the mess I got into. Without a moment's hesitation, John Paul II said, would you hear my confession? So he did. And the Pope, being the Pope, he was able there and then to unbind anything which was binding him and to make him again an active priest. In his case, somebody who could have gone straight down to hell by one word again was put back in stellar motion, homeward bound. Once a priest, always a priest. Remember that, little man. That could be your case one day. These little people are fresh and clean. And should ever the Lord call you, never say no. And as for you, we praise God that He is calling people from all over the place to come close to the altar. Let us not refuse. Before eternity, what is time? And the choice to say yes in youth is something which is cosmic in its results. But we must never, ever withdraw the yes.